Hey, what's going on everyone? In this review, I'll be looking at a classic mobile suit from the original Mobile Suit Gundam anime series, the RX-77-2 Guncannon. As always, I'll be reviewing this classic Master Grade in 4 categories: the build, the appearance, the articulation, and the gimmicks. I'll be giving each a score from 1 to 5, so at the end I can tally it all up for an average score. Hopefully I can help you decide if you should pick up this model kit. Okay, now let's jump right into this build. Like a lot of my more recent reviews, this kit is really old, coincidentally coming out right after the God Gundam at the end of 2001. Despite being so old though, this kit actually has a pretty solid build. Outside of the head and the feet, it almost has a full inner frame. Of course, it's an older inner frame, so it's pretty basic in terms of construction. Still, there's a lot of little details here to paint up in silver and gold, and there's absolutely zero screws. There's also an interesting rubber ammo belt that comes out of the chest and into the backpack. I have no idea why it's here since it's hidden under armor, but it's cool nonetheless. I found the build of the circular shoulders to be really interesting. At first I thought it would be some kind of complex gimmick, but it's actually just 3 domes laid over top of each other, so they'll actually rotate when you move the arm, which is pretty cool. The armor that goes on top of the frame is pretty solid, as well as has some good part separation. Of course, there are quite a few bad nubs on this kit, so you might want some sandpaper on hand when you build this guy. There's no stickers or mandatory paint on this kit, which is pretty crazy. Even the yellow details on the side of the chest and the head Vulcans, they're all individual color pieces. I would recommend picking up a black panel lining pin and a black Gundam marker though. Since this kit is mainly red and gray, a little bit of black ink goes a long way. I actually went a little overboard and panel lined the entire inner frame too. There are also quite a few thick panel lines running along the legs and the arms. These panel lines are actually molded between the 2 halves of the limbs, so it's super easy to get in there with a black Gundam marker and then scrape off the excess paint with an X-Acto blade. I also recommend adding yellow to the thrusters on the backpack, just to add some character. All in all, the build of this kit is great. It's really simple and doesn't require too much work on your part outside of nub removal and getting in there with that black lining. I'll give the build for this kit a solid 4 out of 5. Considering this kit is over a decade and a half old, this is a really high score. Now let's hope his appearance holds up as well. The first thing that hits me here is all the red on this kit. It's actually a pretty solid dark red, so it doesn't look that toyish. I do think the black lining goes a long way in defining this kit though. Without it, it may just look a little bland. With this being an older kit, the proportions are a little on the wonky side, and honestly, I love it. The Guncannon was made to be a little chunky, so the wider proportions of this kit are just perfect. He looks exactly like he does in the anime. I really like the lack of needless panel lines. While panel lining is an important aspect of this build, all the lines make sense, and there's nothing that wasn't in the original show. You get 2 sets of decals for this kit, first being the usual set of peel and stick caution signs. It's nothing that interesting, but you do get some nice white base logos. The second is a great sheet of dry transfer decals. You get lots of model numbers, so you could buy 2 or 3 of these kits and make your own little team of Guncannons. Some of these dry transfers can be a little on the weak side though, but that may just be due to age. I really like the appearance of this Guncannon. The wonky proportions of these older Master Grades fit the Guncannon perfectly. However, without the panel lining, you may find this kit a little bit lacking. I'll give the appearance a solid 4.5 out of 5. This may be the highest appearance score I've given to an old school kit. Now it's time to take a look at his articulation. As usual, let's start at the feet. And as usual for an old school kit, you get absolutely nothing. The ankles have a thick ball joint, so you get some decent movement. However, it's pretty restricted by the thickness of the legs. There is, however, a nice little joint on the top of the foot that allows the heels to pop out. You get close to a 135-degree bend from the knee. Again, the thickness of the legs really hurts here. There is this cool moving grate in the knee though, which is pretty ahead of its time. The waist skirts are really tough to move. Honestly, it's just the front skirts that have any articulation. The hips are on a ball and socket, so good kicks, but not much else. They're actually similar to the Master Grade Ground Gundam and the EZ-8 by having a little extra forwards and backwards hinge in there. The waist has a thick ball joint, but you don't really get much out of it because of the size of the skirts. There's actually a bit of a pop out from the shoulders, but it's so minimal I'm not even sure why it was included. You get the usual 360-degree spin from the shoulder, as well as some decent lateral movement. The arms themselves have a solid 360-degree spin from the top, but only a 90-degree bend from the elbow. This is pretty below average, even for its time period. This kit only comes with 2 sets of hands. The first is the usual trigger finger split, and the second is a pair of open hands. The head is on the usual ball joint, so you get decent spins, but not really too much else. Just like the new Gundam version Katoki, there's a little extra hinge that allows the neck section to move upwards. This is pretty great for those laying down shooting poses. The shoulder cannons can move up and down, which is really all you need. The articulation is where this kit really shows its age. You combine the age of this kit with the thickness of the gun cannon's design, and you end up with pretty horrible articulation. Really, you only get 2, maybe 3 poses. So honestly, I have to give this kit a slightly below average score of 2.5 out of 5. If you're into articulation, then you might be more into the high-grade Revive version of the gun cannon. Finally, let's take a look at these gimmicks. First and foremost, you get the usual beam rifle. It looks pretty cool, despite essentially being 2 giant halves with some frills thrown on top of it. You do have to paint this yellow lens though. Thankfully it comes as an individual clear piece, so it's not too difficult to paint up. You can hold the rifle really well, by the way, even without pegs. The fingers are just so thick. Next are his hand grenades. I doubt you'll ever really use them, but they're still a nice touch. You can store them inside the openable hatches on the legs. It's a really secure connection, which is fantastic. Next are part of the actual suit. These great 240mm shoulder cannons. They look pretty great, even with this seam line on top. If you ever get bored with these, you can replace them with his spray missile launchers. The missiles are individual pieces, so they're really easy to paint up. I just went with black though, but I suppose you could use red or silver or something. I do recommend adding this black paint to the back of the launcher, as well as this black line running along the top. Changing between the 2 weapons is as easy as popping one out and plugging the new one in. I will say this isn't the sturdiest connection, so if you're not careful you can actually snap off this plastic piece. And finally, this kit comes with a fully transformable core fighter. It's not the best looking core fighter, and it even requires some gray painting for the vents, but it's still a nice touch. I like that you get little landing gear, so you could actually display this core fighter on its own. Unlike the Gundam 2.0, you get a dedicated core block as well. I really like the gimmicks on this kit. It's really everything I could ask for. You even get the useless hand grenades. So I'll give the gimmicks of this kit a perfect 5 out of 5. You just know if this kit was released today, the spray missile launchers would be some premium Bandai extra. Okay, time to wrap this up for an average score. The build was a 4 out of 5. It's a really solid master grade that I would recommend to just about anyone. The appearance was a 4.5 out of 5. The wonky proportions of these older master grades fit the gun cannon perfectly. It does need that black lining though. The articulation was a 2.5 out of 5. This is where the kit really shows its age. The gimmicks received a perfect 5 out of 5. It's everything you could ask for from a gun cannon. Tallying all that up and dividing, this kit receives a 4 out of 5, or an 80%. This is probably the highest score I've given to a master grade this old. I mean, this kit just holds up. While I'm sure a 2.0 would be an improvement, I can't help but recommend this kit. It really is a great way to add the gun cannon to your collection. Alright, feel free to leave any questions or comments you have about this kit below, or just to recommend more kits for me to review. I'm always looking for something new to build. Okay, thanks for watching.